died around 8 tonight at Midtown Medical Center. A family member verifies this is Brown in the photo you see on your screen. Police confirm he was involved in an incident at Outlaw Saloon on Veterans Parkway last night. Right now, officials are unable to confirm the manner of death, but say the body will be sent for an autopsy tomorrow. Stay with WTVM on air and online for updates to this developing story. A Georgia mother is making a sacrifice to help improve her young daughter's autism disorder by giving her cannabis oil illegally under state law. Newsleader 9's Arisha Jones has a story from LaGrange.
For Jennifer Conforti, giving her 5-year-old autistic daughter cannabis oil was a decision she made after the trial and error of several medications prescribed by doctors.
Because they were guessing at what might help her. They didn't know. And I thought, I'm going to do what I have to do to get my daughter back.
For 9 months, her daughter Abby took over 30 medications. This is video of her before starting the cannabis oil. Diagnosed with severe autism required her to wear armbands to keep her from biting herself.
The people who saw what she was like before the oil and see what she's like now are thrilled and amazed.
The medical cannabis oil is legal for use in the state of Georgia for people who suffer from conditions like cancer and sickle cell. But House Bill 722 looks to add more conditions such as autism.
Quite frankly, I wish there were no qualifying conditions. I wish medical cannabis was available for everybody who needed it.
Conforti has been giving her daughter the oil twice a day for 13 months and has seen an improvement.
This morning, first time ever, she reached up to take my hand to walk into church. She never does that. She just stands there and kind of plays with her fingers.
She's also advocating for many other parents and adults in Georgia to get the help they need. In LaGrange, Arisha Jones for WTVM Newsleader 9.
House Bill 722 also looks to allow bringing medical cannabis across Georgia state lines, testing and buying the oil at a local dispensary. Tonight, police are investigating 3 separate shootings, all happening this weekend in Columbus. The first one happened around 10 last night. A 46-year-old man was shot in the leg at a home in the 1200 block of Martin Luther King Boulevard. No arrests in this case, but we do know the gunman used a revolver in that shooting. Then just a few hours later, the second shooting at a Columbus nightclub. Someone with a pistol opened fire at After 5 Club at 1836 Midtown Drive around 2 this morning. A 26-year-old was shot in the leg with a pistol. And around 5 this morning, another shooting, this one at a home on Winston Road. Shots fired into a house. No one was hurt. A 34-year-old woman and a 62-year-old man were inside the home. No suspects have been named. Well, is more beautiful weather in store for the start of your work week? The man with the answers, Chief Meteorologist Derek Kincaid, is standing by to let you know.
Rosalind, thanks. Yeah, the weather, the big story out there today, temperature-wise. Check out these numbers. Highs well into the 70s. 72 in Thomaston, LaGrange, 74, 71 in Columbus and Fort Benning, and 74 down in Eufaula. We're still fairly mild at this hour in the upper 50s in the Fountain City. At 59, it's still 64 in Montgomery and 64 up in Birmingham. So really great night in progress. Some clouds out there, though, and I think we could see some fog form at some point, perhaps after midnight. But those rain chances staying low tonight and really through the day tomorrow as well. Here's a breakdown of that morning weather. Mid-50s early on, but again, fog could be a factor for some for that commute to school and work on Monday. Now, we're going to tell you about the rest of the week and the chance for storms on Wednesday. Something to alert you about there. We'll, of course, have that for you coming up later in the show. Back to you, Rosalind.
All right, Derek, thank you. The Phoenix City Police Department is investigating a burglary on River Chase Drive. They need your help identifying the man in the photos below. Now, this incident happened on January 22nd around 1:30 in the morning. The photos were obtained through video surveillance. If anyone has information or can identify this individual, please contact Phoenix City Police Investigations Division at the number you see there on your screen. Authorities in Troup County also need your help finding a burglary suspect in LaGrange. Authorities say this man, believed to be driving a silver Mitsubishi Lancer, broke into the Happy Stop on Hamilton Road and took an unknown number of Newport cigarettes on Friday. They believe the same person broke into Sonny's place on Bartley Road and took an undetermined amount of cash. If you recognize the car or person in these photos, you're asked to call police at the number that you see there on your screen. Alabama authorities are looking for 2 suspects they believe went on a crime spree. Officials in 3 cities are looking for Blake Fitzgerald and Brittany Harper, both of Joplin, Missouri. The 2 are considered armed and dangerous, according to officials. Vestavia Hill police want the 2 for kidnapping, burglary, and theft, while Tuscaloosa officials believe the duo to be responsible for another kidnapping. In the 3rd city, Hoover, Alabama, a McDonald's manager was robbed at gunpoint. A team led by an Auburn biologist is taking part in a unique competition in the Everglades, which involves capturing a specific species of snakes. News Leader 9's Rosanna Smith has the details.
David Steen has been interested in wildlife for as long as he can remember.
When I was young, I used to walk around the forest, wade through streams, lifting rocks, looking for snakes and bugs and that kind of thing.
So it comes as no shock that this Auburn University biologist decided to form a team to compete in the 2016 Python Challenge in South Florida.
Pythons are a problem to South Florida and the native diversity there because they eat everything in their path. And so they're eating all the native biodiversity, and that means there's less for some of the native wildlife to eat.
The team spent a week walking more than 35 miles in the vast wetlands in the Everglades, searching for the creature known for its amazing camouflaging abilities.
It's pretty low tech. Blood, sweat, and tears is what I say you need to bring and be ready to spend. But also pillowcases. The pillowcases are to hold the pythons that we capture.
And the group's hard work did pay off. They caught 1 python.
A 10, 20-foot long python, they can be intimidating. It's a risk we were willing to take. I do treat these animals with respect. I don't know about fear, but a healthy amount of respect.
Steen's team is back home, but with the competition not wrapping up until February 14th, they do have hopes of going back again. Rosanna Smith, WTVM News Leader 9.
And this is the 2nd year for the challenge. 1,600 people participated and 68 pythons were captured. Wow. A local state lawmaker wants to ensure job protection for service members called away for military duty. Representative Calvin Smyre is hoping to do that through House Bill 831 filed this week. The bill will provide employment protections to Georgia workers called into service by the National Guard of a neighboring state. Officially titled the Protecting Guardsmen's Employment Act, the bill ensures Georgia would join 17 other states already on board with the act. If you are looking to vote in Georgia's presidential primary, time is running out. The deadlines to register for Georgia's primary is tomorrow, February 1st. Officials remind you that if your address or your name has changed, then you must update your information in order to vote. Well, the primary will take place March 1st as part of the SEC primary, along with Alabama and several other southern states. Also in Georgia, the state legislature, some sparking changes could be coming soon to Georgia fireworks laws. Several lawmakers would like to see changes to the law that was signed into effect last May by Governor Nathan Deal. Lawmakers are concerned about safety issues because the law allows for blanket use of consumer fireworks without any local control. Some Republican lawmakers are taking a second look at the law and proposing changes that would restore some oversight to fireworks to local officials. A Phoenix City man has an extra $1,000 because of a campaign by a nationwide tax preparer. For the first year ever, H&R Block is giving away $1,000 to 1,000 people every day across the country during the tax refund season. William Allen is the first winner of the Chattahoochee Valley area to receive $1,000. He picked up his check at the Phoenix City office this morning.
Came in to file my taxes and pretty much got lucky, I guess. Or because of the best employees ever here.
So the easiest way is for you to come to H&R, any H&R Block, and get your taxes done, and then we can follow the process at the tax desk, and you'll be able to be entered.
Now, Allen says he has a client. He's been a client there of H&R Block for about 9 years. He plans to use the money to pay for some bills. H&R Block says his campaign will end on February 15th. Coming up, the day before the Iowa caucuses, presidential candidates are making a mad dash to greet voters. Take a look at what the polls are showing.
Hey, coming up for you after the break, we'll talk a little weather as we get you set for the next 9 days, including a look at the storms possible on Wednesday. Details on that for you coming up right after the commercial break.
coverage you can count on. This is WTVM News Leader 9.
It is down to the wire with the Iowa caucuses a day away, and presidential candidates are making a final push to get out in front of the voters. A recent poll by the Des Moines, Iowa Register there shows the Iowa choice for Democratic nominee among likely caucus goers is Hillary Clinton with 45% of the vote. Not far behind is Senator Bernie Sanders with 42% of the vote. Leading the polls as the Iowa choice for Republican nominee is Donald Trump. Senators Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio continue to go after each other following the clash over immigration during Thursday's debate.
Marco ran in Florida. He promised the men and women of Florida he would lead the fight against amnesty. In Texas, I promised the men and women of Texas I would lead the fight against amnesty. When we got to Washington, he and I made very different decisions. So a vote for Marco is a vote for amnesty.
Rubio countered by saying he was the best candidate to unite the Republican Party. Tonight, 2 Virginia Tech students are behind bars and face charges connecting to the death of a Virginia teenager. Police have arrested 18-year-old Virginia Tech student David Eisenhower and charged him with murder, while 19-year-old student Natalie Keepers faces 2 charges, accessory and improper disposal of a body. Nicole Lavelle went missing from her Virginia home Wednesday. Her body found 4 days later just over the Virginia border in North Carolina last night. Officials say they believe that Eisenhower and the 13-year-old girl were acquainted with each other prior to her disappearance. One town in Louisiana is very concerned about its water supply. Residents of St. Joseph are signing a petition asking President Obama to declare a federal emergency in St. Joseph and divert federal resources to repair the town's water infrastructure. They say the water, which is normally a yellow color, has turned brown and murky in the past few weeks. They also say they have contacted town officials, but nothing is getting done. Residents say there has been a problem with the water for a while now, and many of the residents can't afford to buy bottled water.
There's always been a problem with the water, and it's been going on for at least 10 years. You have to keep in mind that this is a community where the people live 125% below poverty guideline, and they actually have to allocate their revenues to purchase water. That is truly not fair, is it?
More than 2,400 people have signed the petition so far. Hopefully they'll get that situation corrected.
Lots of stories like that in the
soon.
news lately, too.
There are lots of stories concerning water.
Yeah, well, we've got some weather to talk about for you, and our weather very warm out there, Rosalind.
Very warm,
it though. Yeah, absolutely. Had a great day out there today, and as we take into Monday and Tuesday, a similar story. Those highs staying in the 70s, but as we head into Wednesday and beyond, you'll see that cool down coming, and we'll tell you why that is coming up. So let's go ahead and talk now about that forecast early tomorrow as we're getting you ready for the morning commute out there. We're going to say some fog in spots. Overall, I don't think this is going to be a big deal, but it could still hamper that commute to school or work early Monday. Temperatures stay in the low and mid 50s early on, so a very mild start to the day. It will be a warm finish to the day, the high 72. And we're going to see more clouds than sun at times tomorrow. Isolated showers possible, but we'll give you the green light for travel tomorrow afternoon and evening with no major impacts from those isolated showers. Hey, it's warm out there tonight, or at least mild for this time of year. 59 in Columbus, 60 in Auburn, and 59 degrees down in the city of Eufaula. Here's your big picture. The skies cloudy out there at the moment, and we're going to see those clouds hanging around for the next couple of days. Another thing that we'll see, some areas of showers. You see a few of those down in southern Mississippi. These coming up from the Gulf. As moisture increases, we're going to see better chances for some of these showers maybe making their way up into parts of the Chattahoochee Valley. We'll watch for that. Again, these showers shouldn't have any big impacts on our weather Monday or Tuesday. So let's talk about it here with the Futurecast. Here's Monday morning, starting you off cloudy, maybe foggy. By the afternoon, you see a few passing showers possible. That would be about it. The same weather Monday evening into the day on Tuesday. Now, Tuesday starts off also with a cloudy sky, and as we get into the evening hours, you'll see perhaps the rain increasing in areas to our west. And coming into the upper left-hand part of your screen there near Tupelo, Mississippi, that's a line of storms that we're going to be tracking. So going into the overnight hours, and now we're in very early Wednesday morning, 4 a.m., the line of storms knocking on the door of some of our East Alabama counties. Now that will move through as we head into your Wednesday morning. This is Wednesday at 7, maybe getting into Columbus and Phoenix City by then if this particular look at the storms holds true, and then moving through the rest of the valley as we go through the early afternoon hours on Wednesday. Now, some of those storms, well, they could be on the strong side, and we think damaging winds the primary threat with a few storms along the line. The tornado threat is not zero. It's something we'll have to watch out for, and you'll have to watch out for it as well. Stay connected with us via our free severe weather text alerts. Just text your county name to 40909. 50s for lows tonight. Highs tomorrow back in the 70s. It's going to be a very similar day to what we saw out there today. And in Auburn and Opelika, they too will see a pretty similar story weather-wise with a mild night and a warm day expected for tomorrow. Here's a quick check of that 9-day forecast. Again, the alert day for you Wednesday. We want you to be weather aware as we go through the afternoon and evening. Well, really, I guess the morning and afternoon. That's the best time frame for those strong storms, then turning a lot colder after that, Rosalind.
So enjoy the weather while it lasts.
Yeah, next couple days looks great temperature-wise.
All right, thank you, Derek.
Thank you.
Coming up, a pair of Atlanta Falcons showed out today. We've got highlights of this year's Pro Bowl. Plus, a former Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket could have taken his final snap in the NFL. More on Calvin Johnson's potential retirement up next.
From WTVM Sports Leader 9, Paul Stockman.
It may soon be no more Megatron in the NFL. Multiple media outlets are reporting that Detroit Lions wide receiver and former Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket Calvin Johnson is planning to retire. The 6'5" receiver earned the nickname Megatron, and for good reason. He finished his career with 83 touchdowns and more than 11,000 receiving yards. Now, I must say, as of now, neither the team nor Johnson have confirmed these reports. But Johnson was the second overall pick in the 2007 NFL Draft by the Lions and spent his entire career in the Motor City. He played 9 years in the league, made 5 Pro Bowls. And speaking of the Pro Bowl, was going on earlier this afternoon, earlier this evening, Devontae Freeman, one of the Falcons, represented on Team Michael Irvin, facing Team Jerry Rice. But in the first quarter, it's his Falcons teammate making plays. Julio Jones making a great touchdown grab there on the pass from Russell Wilson. Game tied at 7 apiece. Later in the first, Wilson going to find Freeman this time out of the backfield, and Devontae gets it in for a touchdown. 2 TDs by Falcons players early in this one. But how about one more from a familiar face? Todd Gurley, the former Georgia running back and the rookie Rams running back, into the end zone for the touchdown. Team Irvin wins 49-27. NBA action tonight. The Atlanta Hawks on the road facing the Miami Heat down in the 305. In the first quarter, Hawks down by 6. Luol Deng gets the pass down to Amari Stoudemire, who's there for the two-handed jam. Miami on top 18-10. Second quarter, Heat with a big lead. Hawks trying to come back. Al Horford with the 3 from the corner, but Miami still with a 15-point lead. Fourth quarter, Miami still with a good lead. Dwayne Wade driving to the basket, gets the 2 points in traffic. Not a good night for the Hawks all the way around. Here's Dwayne Wade showing his passing skills as well. Gets it down low to Dang, and he gets the 2 points and the foul. Hawks lose their third in a row, 105-87. And it was a softball showdown this afternoon at South Commons in Columbus as the Peach Belt and Gulf South conferences matched up in several games this weekend. Columbus State went 0-2 in yesterday's doubleheader. They hope to turn it around with another doubleheader with 2 games today. Game 1 of the 2 for the Cougars was against Delta State. This one coming this morning at about 11:30 first pitch. But in the bottom of the first, things not going well for the Cougars early. 2 runners on. Madison Zeller hits a double to the gap in right center. 2 runs come in, part of a 3-run first inning for Delta State. But CSU would slowly chip away at the lead. Top of the 4th, Kaylee Bryant singles up the middle. Elizabeth Purdue comes in to score, and the Cougars cut the lead to 1. Then in the 5th, it's Mackenzie Fagioli singling to center as well. That brings home Katie White to tie the game at 4. CSU would take the lead that inning. Then in the 7th, it's Fagioli once more. This time she rips one to left. This one almost gets out of here but goes off the wall. It's enough to score Madison Mosley. She's trucking around third, and the Cougars get their first win of the season in a 6-5 game over Delta State. Here's the coach after the game.
Anytime we get the zero clicking to something besides a zero, it feels great. And of course, this weekend, you know, anytime we get 1 or 2 wins this weekend, it's going to be a great weekend. I mean, I'm glad Sunday morning we woke up and finally got one.
Got 1, but could they get 2 today? Part 2 of the doubleheader this afternoon. CSU facing North Alabama out of Huntsville. Pick it up in the bottom of the 3rd. No score. Daniel Cruikshank trying the bunt here, but Katie White making a diving stab to get the out. But later in the inning, North Alabama would come up with some runs. 2 runners on. Anna Gale Norris, the lefty, at the dish, and she puts a charge into this one. 3-run blast to left center, and just like that, North Alabama's up 3-0. Top of the 4th, CSU would try to come back. Kaylee Bryant hits a line drive to center to bring in Keely Waugh. That would make it 3-1, but Columbus State would lose 6-1 the final in that one. That's your look at sports.
And here's another look at your 9-day forecast heading into your Groundhog Day. We're looking at some pretty nice weather for Tuesday, but again, Wednesday, the alert day there with some storm chances early in the day. The severe weather threat overall fairly low. We'll watch it for you carefully as those storms roll in on Wednesday.
All right, thank you, Derek. And thank you so much for joining us tonight. We'll see you back here tomorrow night at the same time. Have a great one, everyone.